Good afternoon. Today, for a Borderline Mom Reads, I will be sharing Cheese, Peas, and Chocolate Pudding by Betty Van Witsen, illustrated by Jack Hazley. A little story behind this book because I don't think many people have heard it. Back when I was in elementary school, and in case you were wondering, it was more than a one-room schoolhouse. This was my favorite book when I was in probably like kindergarten or first grade, and I used to check it out all the time. So when I went back to the elementary school as an adult, and long story, I was talking to the current librarian there, and I was telling her about the book, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I think we still have it." So she went and looked, and sure enough, they still had this book. So she just gave it to me. Well, unfortunately, I had a rabbit that chewed it up. So I spent a long time in my adult life trying to find it for less than $500, and I lucked out and found it at a yard sale. So, long story to preface this. Sorry if I lost your child's interest, but I'm going to read it first, and then I have an activity that can go along with it if you happen to be a teacher or you're homeschooling or daycare and you want something to do with it, because I have actually taken this to elementary schools for my children and done this activity and read the book. So again, I'm going to read the book first, and then I will show you the activity. So, again, Cheese, Peas, and Chocolate Pudding. There was once a little boy who ate cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding. Cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding. Cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding. Every day the same old things. Cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding. For breakfast, he would have some cheese, any kind, cream cheese, American cheese, Swiss cheese, Dutch cheese, Italian cheese, blue cheese, green cheese, yellow cheese, brick cheese, even liter crayons. Just cheese for breakfast. Am I missing lunch? Yep, I missed lunch. For lunch, he ate peas, green or yellow peas, frozen peas, canned peas, dry peas, split peas, black-eyed peas. No potatoes, though. Just peas for lunch. And for supper, he would have cheese and peas and chocolate pudding. Cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding. Cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding. Every day the same old things. Cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding. Once, his mother bought a lamb chop for him. She cooked it in a little frying pan on the stove, and she put some salt on it and gave it to the little boy on a little blue dish. The boy looked at it. He smelled it. It did smell delicious. He even touched it. But, "Is this cheese?" he asked. "It's a lamb chop, darling," said his mother. The boy shook his head. "Cheese," he said. So his mother ate the lamb chop herself, and the boy had some cottage cheese. One day, his big brother was chewing a raw carrot. It sounded so good, the little boy reached his hand out for a bite. "Sure," said his brother. "Here." The little boy almost put the carrot into his mouth, but at the last minute he remembered, and he said, "Is this peas?" "No, fella, it's a carrot," said his brother. "Peas," said the little boy firmly, handing the carrot back. Once his daddy was eating a big dish of raspberry jello. It looked so shiny, red, and cool. The little boy came over and held his mouth open. "Want a taste?" asked his daddy. The little boy looked and looked at the jello. He almost looked it off the dish. "But is it chocolate pudding?" he asked. "No, son, it's jello," said his daddy. So the little boy frowned and backed away. "Chocolate pudding," he said. His grandma baked cookies for him. "Nope," said the boy. His grandpa bought him an ice cream cone. The little boy just shook his head. His aunt and uncle invited him for a fried chicken dinner. Everybody ate more fried chicken. Everybody ate fried chicken and more fried chicken, except the little boy. And you know what he ate? Cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding. Cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding. Every day the same old things. Cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding. There's his food. But one day, a very funny thing happened. The little boy was playing puppy. He lay on the floor and growled and barked and rolled over. He crept to the table where his big brother was having lunch. "Arf, arf," he barked. "Good doggy," said his brother, patting his head. The little boy lay down on his back on the floor and barked again. But at that minute, his big brother dropped a piece of something from his plate, and the little boy's mouth was just ready to say "arf." And what do you think happened? Something dropped into the little boy's mouth. He sat up in surprise because something was on his tongue, and something was warm and juicy and delicious. And it didn't taste like cheese, and it did not taste like peas, and it certainly wasn't chocolate pudding. The little boy chewed slowly. Each chew tasted better than the last. He swallowed something and opened his mouth again, wide as he could. "Want some more?" asked his brother. The little boy closed his mouth and thought. "That's not cheese," he said. "No, it's not," said his brother. "And it isn't peas." "No, not peas," said his brother. "And it couldn't be chocolate pudding." "No, it's certainly not chocolate pudding," smiled his brother. "It's hamburger." The little boy thought hard. "I like hamburger," he said. So his big brother shared the rest of his hamburger with the little boy, and ever after that, guess what? Ever after that, the little boy ate cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding, and hamburger. Until he was your age, of course. When he was your age, he ate everything. The end. Beautiful. Well, now that I've read it, you can either decide to end the video, watch it again, or I will tell you the activity that I like to do along with the video. So, whoosh, set the book aside, and magically papers arrive. I got these papers offline. I just looked like for free downloadables. Made some easy plates here. I printed them at my own house because you know how schools are right now about, good Lord, if you use all their paper. Woo! So you can do this one of two ways. You can have the students draw cheese, peas, and chocolate pudding on their plate. You can have them draw their favorite foods on the plate. You can have them draw their least favorite foods on their plate. Depending on how much time they have, some of them like to draw a tablecloth, because as you can see, he had a colorful tablecloth. but it relates to the cover. Anyway, depending on the grade level, the higher you get, obviously the kids aren't going to listen to the book. I've usually had success through grades 3, grade 4, maybe pushing it depending on the class size, and maybe the number of kids and pairs in the room. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, I found this just Googling free printable plates or place settings. They can be creative in a lot of different ways. So that's my story for the day. And you don't have to find the book. It is very hard to find because I read it to you. Thank you and have a great day.